But I do actually want to say a big thank you. You have made GB News the #1 news channel in the country. We have overtaken the BBC for the first time. And now Sky News is a distant third. It's finished. It's over. It's game over. They might as well just give up. It's finished. You know when we first started, people used to laugh at us about the ratings, didn't they? They'd say, oh, nobody watches GB News. They'd say to me things like, oh, you don't work at GB News, do you? Well, yeah, I do. I bloody love it and I'm flipping proud of it. And now we are #1, so you can stick that in your pipe and smoke it, can't you? There is an army of people out there, a people's army, who have had enough of the status quo, they've had enough of being lied to by the establishment media, and enough of being talked down to. Right? And I think one of the really special things about GB News is that when you turn on the TV, there's a good chance you'll see someone who's a bit like you on the telly doing the news, and you'll feel as though your views are represented. So, thank you. There you go, there's one there. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much to everyone behind the scenes who works incredibly hard and has worked very, very hard over the years. Thank you to the bosses for putting up with me for the last few years, because I haven't, believe it or not, I haven't always made it that easy for them, so there you go. But most importantly, thank you to everyone who tunes in, from the people who were here right at the start, to the people who have it on all day in every room of their house, to the people who've only just joined us. I promise that we will keep fighting for you. So, all right, well, with that in mind, let's crack on with the show as planned and get ready to get very angry, because asylum seekers are getting free prescriptions, free eye tests, discounted glasses, free dental, free wigs, even free travel, free wigs, even free travel to and from their appointments. Well, it's not free, is it? Because we're all paying. We are all paying. You're paying. Now, if you're on a low income, you can get a free NHS pass, which helps you out with stuff like that. But 59% of those passes in the last 5 years have gone to asylum seekers. That's nearly 1 million. It's nearly 1 million. And get this, another 317,000 have gone to people who were here legally as well, which is remarkable. Now, I'm not sure why they need it. It does seem as though they've got doctors and nurses in a lot of their migrant hotels anyway.
There were concerns too about adding pressures on local GP services.
And then come in the country and get what I want, to see a doctor.
And you might remember a little while ago, GB News went to have a look around the Bibby Stockholm. Remember that? Those heady days of the Bibby Stockholm barge. And there was a doctor's unit on there as well, in the barge. Now, an illegal migrant is able to claim for all of that free stuff I said the second they land in Britain. So from the moment, they don't even have to be approved, they don't even have to have already started to seek asylum, they don't have to do anything, they just get it straight away. Which means that all of these lads, and I stand before you today, currently stood in the middle of an illegal migrant warehouse full of young Sudanese Brents. You will see an overhanging warehouse full of more Sudanese men. All of these people are on their way to Britain. They're about to come to Britain. Some of them will probably be here already, and they're going to get everything for free on the NHS. Anyone with one of these free passes can get free stuff for their relatives as well. So there's that. And kids, people who are under 18. It's remarkable, all of this, isn't it? Can you get an NHS appointment that easily? Is your dentist taking on new customers? Do you get free glasses if you need free glasses? If you need glasses, no, you don't, do you? Does someone come and pick you up and take you to your appointment? No. Well, even if you could get an appointment, you'd probably turn up to the waiting room and you see a load of strapping young men from Eritrea in the queue in front of you. So there you go. Right.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney? Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Let's get the views of my panel on this. I mean, this is an absolutely remarkable story. Gawain making a debut on the show this evening. What do you make of this story here?
I mean, it's the idea that illegal migrants make up 1% of the population, but over 50% of the free stuff given, the free NHS care. So the 48% who are UK citizens, that is the lowest paid. That is the people who need it the very most. And yet, that free stuff is going to people who we don't know who they are, we don't know where they're from, we don't know why they're here. It's an outrage.
Is that right, Jane?
No, I agree. I think some of the things that made me especially angry with my £1 pair of reading glasses is that you can get £288 towards glasses. I'm in the wrong gig here. But the other thing that made me quite angry is once you have the certificate, even if your circumstances completely change, you can keep getting the free stuff until it expires. So even if someone who's on a low income and they've emigrated here, even if they get a very well-paid job, they could have 9 more months of free stuff. Or, this is
It's a farce, isn't it, really? I think it's a farce. Just feel like every day something's getting a bit worse. Let us go to our first audience question. By the way, can I just say, for people who are new as well, if you get particularly outraged by something, stick your hand up, wave at me, we'll try and get the microphone to you. So what would you like to say about this?
It's quite simple, really. You've already said most of it. There's extra services needed throughout the NHS. We can't even get appointments with the NHS. We can't get appointments with doctors, dentists, anybody. The hospital. Where is all this money coming from?
You.
It does.
Yeah, it's coming from all everyone. It's coming from us. It's taxpayers' money. There's a lad at the back there. Do you want to say something quickly or not? No. Oh, fair enough. But he's not happy. He's not happy either, is he? So, there we go. Christys, go on. What would you like to say on this?
Well, I mean, I heard that Lord Arley was in charge of the glasses, wasn't he? He was providing them all.
Here's one.
They're expensive. How much are yours? £1?
Pound.
I don't think Keir Starmer's were £1,
They
were they?
weren't.
Look, it's not sustainable. I thought that we were only bringing over doctors and nurses and lawyers anyway that were asylum seekers. Apparently that's not the case. But it isn't sustainable. And I think that there is a wider issue here, and that is the perception that if you are someone who plays by the rules, if you're a British person that pays their taxes, goes out to work, does all the stuff you're supposed to do, rings up for a doctor's appointment between 8:20 and 8:23 when you're able to get through to your doctor's surgery, you are at the back of the queue, whereas other people who might be genuine, but many people who aren't, get it all for free. And that is so damaging to the social contract in society. It's so damaging to you going out and working because, as you have pointed out, as many people have pointed out, it's not government money, it's taxpayers' money. And we talk a lot here about how there is no point in working hard anymore because you're taxed to oblivion. Well, here you go. This is why. This is why.
Well, go on. So, Steve, what should the Labour government do here? What should they do?
Well, the Labour government should make damn sure that they're not wasting money by giving it people for syrups and things like that, and that's ludicrous. But look, I mean, I actually went down to the Bibby Stockholm. Wigs. Sorry. I actually went down to the Bibby Stockholm. I'd heard about a medical centre there. In fact, the bloke there was actually checking for transferable diseases like tuberculosis. I think it's a damn good idea. I think we should be checking on that. In America, you don't get into America unless you actually get checked for TB or some other disease which we won't mention at this time of night. So I think that's a good idea. Look, the ridiculous thing is, when Enoch Powell was Secretary of State for Health, he went all around the West Indies begging people to come to this country to work in the NHS. Now, because we didn't train up our own people. We paid the nurses a pittance. When nurses they got no wages for their first 3 years, they were training. Doctors had to work for 7 years and been there before they started earning money. We have to train up our own people. Then half this problem would disappear. The second half of the problem is these so-called NHS passes. Now, you and I were MPs. You must have had the same as amazes me. People would come to my surgery, get on the plane from Nigeria, 8 3/4 months pregnant, arrive at Heathrow Airport, and you're just about to drop one, and they get taken into the hospital, they're about to give birth. Anyway, but the thing was, every single NHS hospital in this country has a recharge unit. And what happens now, and has happened, in fact, since 2007, is that anyone who does that nowadays will get recharged back.
But we never bothered doing it, did we?
Well, we did round my way. People used to whinge.
We didn't charge back.
No, I said we had a reciprocal arrangement with the European Union. We had treatment in France and they had treatment here. Fair play.
Why can't you just choose to... Why can't you show your national insurance card to get treatment at the NHS? Why can't we have that system? I've been sent my NI card.
Stephen, I'm perplexed. So we train up more nurses than doctors. How does that change the million people turning up here and being able to get free kit? How does it change it?
Well, anyways, if we're talking about the problem of supply rather than the question of demand, we're talking about people demanding this, but you're talking about people queuing up and making the 8 o'clock shuffle to get down the doctors. Well, I'm saying if we had more doctors now, then we could address this issue.
It's true. When Osborne cut the 2,000 quid bursary for nurse training, 50,000 fewer nurses trained in this country. Guess how many nurses we had to import from abroad?
Same number.
About 50,000 of them. That's mad.
But the thing is, we're talking about training doctors and nurses in order to fulfil the demand. Well, why don't we stop the demand?
Can I just say,
that was my question.
A little bit later on in the show, we're going to talk about potential nurses' strikes. We're not going to go too far down that route at the moment. I think it's more of a question of fairness. Is there anyone in this room right now who would like to make a point on this particular issue as well? Oh, it's decided to. Good luck. Have you got the microphone? No, there it goes. Look at that. OK, go on, sir. The floor is yours. You might have to stand up if that's OK. Go on, then.
Hand on heart, with whatever party you're with, whether it's Reform, whether it's Labour, Conservative, where do you foresee the country in 4 years' time? I mean, we've got these clowns for another 3 years. So let's face it, 25,000 at the moment. So by the end of the year, let's say, worst case scenario, in 4 years, there'll be another 200,000, yeah? So it's all cheap talk now saying what's going to happen, but there's 200,000 more people coming to stop people getting to surgeries, dentists, It's all cheap talk. I'm not saying whether Labour, Tory, whoever's right, but we know there's another 200,000 coming. So what are you going to do about that?
But meanwhile, I think I'm not wrong to say that in the last month, we've borrowed the second highest amount in the history of the UK. So we are in absolute shtuck in this country. I mean, I don't hate to be defeatist, but we are up the proverbial creek. The paddle, I mean, I didn't even bring it with me. So I mean, this is really, really serious. And I don't know what we're going to do.
What would Reform do about it?
Given that you're right, we've got another 4 years of this shower. It's basically it's spitting a breeze, but you've got to change the incentive structure.
Yeah.
You're not going to sink the boats in the Channel, though there's probably about 40% of the population would quite like to. You're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So you've got to change the incentive structure. Why come to Britain if you don't get the free stuff? Absolutely. If you will never get leave to return, then why come?
Can I just say one thing about the medical... Look, I think this business about the free medical stuff, the answer there is when you actually talk to the doctors, you actually talk to the A&E people, they say if you turn up as an emergency in A&E, they don't ask where your NI card is, they ask where it hurts.
Of course.
And that's a principle we're quite proud of. The sooner we get ID cards in this country, the better. And as soon as that ID card is an entitlement,
Stephen,
that should be...
Stephen, this card that's giving this free stuff is not somebody's just been hit by a car or been stabbed or something of this sort. Put their fist through a window.
You don't know that, do you?
I'm saying you don't get a card for
somebody topped himself on the Libby Stockholm.
You don't get a card for the...
Already
doesn't work like that.
A card that entitles you to those things, and that's your NI card. Why don't you another one?
You tell me anyone in this room has got a national insurance card?
No, but you reissue...
Nobody's got them.
No, because you don't need to use them. But if you need to use them, you'd carry one.
All right. OK, sorry, Jane. I'll come to you first in the next topic, I'm afraid. But